What's up, horror lovers? Imagine barreling down a lonely stretch of highway at 3 a.m., the world swallowed in blackness, when suddenly, out of nowhere, a woman in white appears at the edge of the road. No, this isn't some campfire ghost story. It's what a seasoned trucker lived through on Route 55 in southern New Jersey. And trust me, once you hear what happened to him that night, you'll think twice before pulling over for anyone ever again. It was just another night behind the wheel for this long-haul driver. The road was deserted, moonless, and eerily silent. His big rig cut through the darkness like a blade, headlights carving narrow tunnels through the void. Then bam, his eyes locked onto a strange figure ahead. A woman. She was standing motionless on the shoulder, wearing what looked like a long, flowing white gown. Not ragged, not bloody, just wrong. He slowed down, instincts kicking in. Someone might be hurt, he thought, but he'd soon wish he'd kept going. Pulling over, he grabbed his flashlight, cracked open the door, and stepped out into the thick blackness. Gravel crunched under his boots as he aimed the beam at where she stood, or rather, where she had stood, because in that blink between parking and looking, she was gone. Just gone. The beam of light sliced through empty air. No woman, no movement, just stillness so dense it felt like the world had stopped breathing. Confused, he swept the light around. No footprints in the gravel, no tire tracks, no swaying weeds or rustling trees. It was as if nothing had ever been there to begin with. He stood there frozen, skin crawling, waiting for logic to catch up. That's when his CB radio, usually a comforting hum in the cab, let out a crackling burst of static, like a whisper from beyond, then fell dead silent. His heart dropped. He called out gently, "Ma'am, are you okay?" But there was no response. Just silence, thick and paralyzing. He backed toward his truck, never turning his back on the void where she'd vanished. Goosebumps rose along his arms, his gut screaming that something wasn't right. He climbed into the cab, locked the doors, and forced himself to breathe. With trembling fingers, he fired up the engine and eased back onto the highway, headlights once again slicing the dark. He glanced in the rearview mirror, expecting to see something. A face, a shadow, but there was only blackness, stretching endlessly behind him. Then came the cold. A creeping chill rolled in through the vents like a fog, frosting the windows from the inside. The heater was cranked, but it didn't matter. His hands shook on the wheel, not from the temperature, but from something deeper, some primal dread taking root in his bones. His mind raced, playing tricks. Was she a hitchhiker? A prank? A trick of the light? But none of that explained the silence, the vanishing, the static. This was no ordinary roadside encounter. He later wrote, "I saw a woman in white, thought it was a real lady that needed help. I pulled over and no one there." Simple words, but heavy with fear. This wasn't just a ghost story. It was the kind that claws its way into your mind and stays there. Because what gets under your skin isn't what you see. It's what disappears when it shouldn't. That woman in white wasn't looking for help. She was bait, and he had taken it almost. Local lore says Route 55 has its share of ghost stories, phantom figures, unexplained crashes, even whispers of curses tied to the land it cuts through. Some say a woman died along that stretch decades ago, searching for help after a wreck no one ever stopped for. Others claim she was a bride killed on her wedding night, doomed to wander forever in her gown. Whatever the truth, those who see her never forget, and those who ignore her sometimes don't get to tell the story. The trucker was lucky. He drove away that night with nothing but a story and a chill in his bones. But next time, who knows? Maybe someone else stops. Maybe she doesn't disappear. Maybe she climbs in. These aren't tales to pass the time. They're warnings. Because out there, beyond the headlights, the dark is never empty. Something's always waiting, watching, listening. So next time you're alone on the road and you see someone, especially a woman in white, standing by the shoulder in the dead of night, keep driving. Don't stop. Don't look back. Because not every soul you meet out there still belongs to the living. Ever driven a desert highway at 3 a.m., alone, when the silence is so deep it feels like it's pressing on your lungs? That's Highway 191, cutting through the American Southwest, where the road doesn't just stretch, haunts. They call it Dead Man's Curve, and the Navajo, they just say, don't stop there at night. You'll wish it was just superstition, because what happened to Darren, long-haul trucker, road veteran, tough as they come, will make you think twice before hitting cruise control in the dark. It was October. Around 3 a.m. Darren was hauling freight through that barren stretch between Bluff, Utah and Chinle, Arizona. You know the type, mountains of sand, cracked rock, shadows that move funny if you stare too long. Darren wasn't new to this. He knew every blind turn, every stretch where the mirage bends the air like a hallucination. But that night, the desert felt heavier, like it was holding its breath. And right after mile marker 238, something stepped into his headlights. A girl. That's what he thought at first. Pale, barefoot, maybe 12, dressed in a white ballet costume that fluttered like it wasn't real. But it wasn't the outfit that made Darren's heart start punching through his ribs. It was the way she moved. Spinning slowly on the shoulder of the road, arms raised, dancing. Graceful, precise, too precise. Like a music box ballerina stuck on repeat. Darren eased his foot off the gas. "What the hell?" he whispered, and leaned forward, trying to see through the windshield. Then she stopped, mid-spin, her head tilted, just slightly, toward him. Not natural, not human, and in the blink of an eye, she was gone. Not ran, not stepped into the shadows, just gone, like she had never been there. Darren slammed on the brakes. Tires skidded. He jumped out, heart hammering, boots crunching gravel. The air was dead still. No wind, no sounds, no footprints on the sand, just the hum of his truck and the growing weight in his chest that said, "You're not supposed to be here." Then the radio. Static, not loud, but thick, like something was crawling through the signal. Then dead silence. Darren stood frozen, and for a split second, it felt like the world had stopped turning. No stars, no desert breeze, just him, his truck, and the feeling that something was watching. Not from the distance, no. From right there, just out of reach. He scrambled back into the cab, locked the doors, turned the key. Nothing, not even a click. He sat there till dawn. Didn't dare close his eyes. Didn't dare move. When the sun finally rose, the truck started without issue. He didn't stop again till he reached a dusty diner in Kayenta. Told the story over bad coffee, hands still trembling. An old Navajo man in the corner overheard him. "You saw the dancer," he said, not even looking up. "She died there. Long time ago. On her way to a recital. Car flipped on that curve. Parents didn't make it either. But she's still waiting. Still dancing. Still hoping someone will clap." Darren wanted to laugh. Wanted to say the guy was crazy. But he didn't. Because deep in his bones, he knew. That spin. That silence. That stare. It wasn't something you could unsee. The old man went on. "There's a white cross buried off the side. You drive by slow. You'll see it sticking out of the sand. Sometimes you hear music there, faint, like it's coming from under the ground. Sometimes she shows herself, hoping this is the night she gets to perform. Now, they say truckers toss coins out the window when they pass that spot. A kind of offering, just in case. Because one guy, rookie driver, stopped, said he wanted to help. Found his rig a week later, doors open, engine off. No sign of him. Just a single pink ballet slipper on the driver's seat. As for the dancer, she was seen again the next night, twirling at mile marker 238, like nothing happened, like she never left. So if you ever find yourself out on Highway 191, past Bluff, past the lights, past where the radio starts going fuzzy, don't stop, don't slow down, and for the love of whatever keeps your soul anchored to this world, don't look back, because if you do, you just might hear the music, and the last thing you'll see is her, spinning. You're driving down a lonely rural road in the heart of Germany. The fog has wrapped the landscape like a thick, suffocating veil. Night fell hours ago, and there's no sound, none. No crickets, no wind, just the steady hum of your tires slicing through the wet pavement, and that gnawing feeling in your gut that you're not alone. This isn't just any forest you're crossing. This is the divert, ancient, watching, and it does not like to be disturbed. They say the divert has secrets, centuries old, blood-stained secrets. Locals barely whisper about it. And tonight you see it. Just ahead, off to the right, through the mist. A faint flicker, a glow, like a weak oil lantern swaying in the breeze that isn't there. Then it hits your ears, a low, ancient creaking, once then again. The kind of sound wooden wheels might make when dragging across cold stone. You slow the car. Your breath fogs the windshield. And from the haze, something glides out. A carriage. Black. Elegant. Floating above the road. Not rolling. Not touching. 4 horses, massive, jet black, drag it silently. Their hooves hover inches from the ground. Perched on the driver's bench. Hooded monks. Still. Silent. Statues of darkness. And inside the carriage him. Schenkiwald. His frame is skeletal. His face pale and tight as parchment. He clutches a leather pouch. From it, you hear it. Clink, clink, clink coins. One by one. Long ago, Schenkiwald was a rentmeister, a tax lord who bled peasants dry while he gorged on luxury at Schloss Nordkirchen. Gold piled high, while children starved beneath his windows. When he died, no tears were shed. The monks didn't bury him, they sealed him. A dark rite whispered from forbidden texts. His soul was chained in silence and cast into the Dauvert. The forest accepted the offering, but not forever, because now, Schenkiwald rides again. His ghostly procession returns night after night, retracing the route from the castle to the cursed forest. Locked in an endless loop of greed or guilt, no one knows. The monks bound to him, forever cursed to serve. And those coins, they never stop. Clink, 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 like a toll being tallied. Some say he seeks forgiveness. Others say he still wants more gold. But many believe he's looking for passengers. You blink. The carriage is gone. The road is empty again. But the air's heavier. The silence thicker. Then clink, 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 distant but moving closer. You've heard the stories. Some who saw the carriage vanished forever. Others were found wandering days later, eyes glazed, whispering about the debt. And in rare cases, they leave something behind. Coins, ancient, untouched by time, cold as ice, cursed to the touch. The cops, they laugh it off. Local myth, they say. Yet they won't patrol the divert at night. One officer took home a coin once. Next morning, he was gone. Only his cruiser remained. Doors locked, engine off. On the seat, a small leather pouch, half open. Inside the same coins. And a note scribbled in what looked like blood. Payment accepted. So, ask yourself, if you see a faint lantern in the fog, will you stop? Will you look closer? If you hear the coins clink, will you run or listen? Because once you hear that sound, it's already too late. You've been noticed, chosen, and there's always room for one more in that carriage. Final warning, never, ever accept a ride from a man who doesn't touch the ground. Never answer if someone calls from the mist. And if you hear that sound clink, 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 slam the gas. Drive, and pray that tonight the toll has already been paid.